You know, when you get out, there's so many struggles, and one of them is finding a job. I am very determined and I'm very hard-headed, so that was a plus for me, because I don't take no, for an answer, and I don't give up. It didn't come right off. It didn't come easy. And when I first got out, I probably went on 20 interviews. And every one I went on, I either got no's or I'm sorry, we can't hire you because, of your background. I was very open. I would always tell them up front.
Well, right now I have a job waiting tables, and it definitely makes ends meet. I do pretty good, but it's not something that anybody could do for the rest of their life. But most restaurants don't ask if you're a felon or not, and they don't care. And it wasn't until I've worked at the same job for 2.5 years, and it wasn't until this last weekend my boss was like, "You ask for a lot of Saturdays off when we're busy. What is up with that? Why do you keep going to the prisons?" And I had to tell him, and he was like, "You were in a high-speed chase? Precious Melanie was in a high-speed? No way." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you don't know the person I used to be." I think you would be surprised that there's a lot of employers that have friends or loved ones that have been to prison or struggling in an addiction, and they might even grant you the interview because they want to hear what you have to say, in hopes that their loved one will be where you are right now too. So wherever we are is where we're supposed to be, and I feel like God's going to open the door for the right job anyway. So there's no point in lying about it, because if that job's for you, you're going to get it.
When they called me in for the interview and it got time for that question, I was just honest with them. There's no point in lying about it. They're going to find out. I'd rather them find out from me being honest and open and upfront about it than finding out that I had lied or tried to hide it. And so I told them about it and told them a little bit of my story, and they just were blown away by it. And I got a call the next day saying I was hired. My boss has been he's like my biggest cheerleader. He really is, because he sees where I came from after I've told him everything, and he sees who I am now, and he knows how hard I'm trying, and that I'm very genuine in that, and that I'm not a bad person. I'm just someone who made a bad choice.
Some of the advice that I have for those, that are being released and they're going to go look for a job is to talk to your parole officer to see what type of job searches they have, because I know that here in our parole office they offer job search and they offer help with resume writing. I heard other people talking about a program called Fresh Start. And it was for those that were recently released from incarceration. So I approached the counselor and asked her about it, and she was able to get me into the program. And so they ended up paying for my school, and they allowed me to work as a transitional for a year while I went through school. And during that time, they changed campus managers, and the campus manager that came in liked me, and she created a permanent position for me. And so that's how I ended up with Goodwill. Also with Goodwill, if you can get your parole officer to get you a referral to Goodwill, Goodwill is a very big second chance. There are other programs. You can call 211 and they can refer you to programs as well. They'll help you with getting clothes to go and interview, and then they will help you with resume writing. Whatever jobs that you had while you were incarcerated, you can add those into your resume. It's very good for you to have a well-written resume, one that is short and to the point, and one that will highlight your skills as opposed to highlighting timelines. If you have references, keep log of your references so that they can give you a reference letter if it's required by the company.
So a woman that I know that's in recovery, her daughter asked me if I wanted to be into private home health care, and so that's what I do today. I take care of the elderly in their homes, and I'm trusted, I'm trusted. I have that. I've got letters of recommendation for the ladies that I've taken care of. Their families have written me a letter of recommendation in case I need it, because I'm not a CNA, but I can be after I'm off parole in 5 years. I can go get my CNA license, which that's what I want to do.
Right now I'm working at Subway. I just recently got that job. I've been there I guess maybe a week. And it's awesome because I could communicate with people. And I'm only working there part-time right now, but it's something that keeps me steady, pays my bills. I'm able to give back to my community, but it keeps me busy, you know, staying focused, staying busy, doing what needs to be done. It keeps you out of trouble.
I put it out like 50 resumes pretty quick, and my mom even said to me, if I hadn't seen you do it, I wouldn't even believe that you'd done it, because nobody called me for like a month. But I had this like faith. God had already told me that he had a job for me. I mean, literally, like I knew it was gonna be okay. I just had to be patient. I knew it before I even left prison that he had a job. I just felt it in my heart, and I mean, I stood firm. And I kept telling my mom that, and which is really not like me, because I tend to be a little worrier, you know, and I don't know why no one called back. As a recruiter now, I know some things. You find out who that person is that's hiring, you call, you ask questions, you get to that person, you kind of be a squeaky wheel, although not an annoying squeaky wheel. You call maybe once or twice, get your name out there. You ask people at your church, you ask your friends, you ask your family if there's any jobs, you ask them to put your name out there to give references, to give recommendations, to put your name in other people's ear, to pass your resume along. That's where you're gonna find your positions. Don't give up. It takes work. You're gonna have to stick with it. It's not easy. Some people are reluctant to hire people who've been in prison. So it's probably gonna have to be someone who knows you, or someone who knows someone who knows you, is my best advice. That doesn't mean you can't just have someone who reads your resume, likes you, meets you, talks to you, gives you a chance. That can happen too. But present yourself well, dress nice, look put together. Don't wear jeans and a t-shirt. Dress up, look good. Do your hair, do your makeup, take pride in your appearance. That's what's gonna get you a position.
Sometimes unrealistic expectations can cause you to not pursue an opportunity because you think that opportunity is not the one because your expectation is higher. But I've learned in hindsight that God orders steps, not leaps and bounds. So you have to take small opportunities and work those, and through those opportunities they will cultivate into bigger ones, especially coming out of prison. Whereas God knows you, but the world doesn't. So you have to prove yourself at times. The first job that I applied for, I got it, but the pay was an insult. But I took that job because my options were kind of few. So I took that job, but the money that they started me off with, I ended up making double, because I used that time on that job to grow, to be nurtured, and I was like a shining star in that place because they constantly rewarded me with a higher opportunity that paid more. So I think that is something important that we need to kind of look at. You're gonna have to take small opportunities at times, and it's through being faithful over little that you'll be in turn able to be put over much.
I took jobs that maybe necessarily I didn't want, but they were stepping stones to get me where I wanted to go. So I actually sold manufactured homes. I even went and got my certification. And, I think that my advice to women would be don't give up. Is just keep going on, and for every 10 no's you get, you're gonna get a yes. So just keep going, don't give up.
Well, it's just persistence. You have to really want a job. You can get a job. It doesn't matter where you've come from or what you've done. People want people that work. Yes, you'll be in more of a running with people that don't have a criminal history, but you can't let that deter you at all.
When I first got out of prison, I had worked in the print shop at Hobby for my time there, and so I had a job quickly. Within 30 days, I was working in a print shop in Houston, and I remember it was not easy. I would have to go and catch the bus. I had to transfer buses. I got bit by a dog. I mean, just crazy things happened. But I stayed grateful. I continued to press on into that relationship with God, and it wasn't easy, but it was doable, and I wanted to do it differently. I had such a desire for my life to never, ever go back to the way it was. This is how God is so instrumental in putting the people in your life It's like it all lines up and it's God's timing. It's not our timing. We just have to be patient and take those steps forward. We have to wait for Him to move.